help the campaigns get better conversions.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. So guys, this was this is Roy. He's head of sales and co-founder of EasyMob. And so we have people kind of joining in and would like to listen to the series. So as an agenda of the session, Roy, I mean, the first question which I had for you is that are people who are working in this industry, the ad tech industry specifically, aware of how much a problem this IVT is, invalid traffic is?
Everyone is aware of invalid traffic. Everyone that is running campaign or have some experience in this industry is aware, of course, of IVT. I'm not sure everyone is aware of how massive the IVT can be in terms of very high portion of the traffic, in terms of the sources of the traffic. It's not only small websites or unknown websites that are giving a lot of IVT traffic. You can find portions of IVT traffic even on Google, on Facebook, uh, and so everybody is aware. It's keep growing in day to day, and people just keep finding out how big it is.
Yeah, I think we totally agree. I mean, the numbers of invalid traffic talk very differently. I mean, like say, they say in 2025, this number could go up to as high as $150 billion across the entire space of advertising, digital advertising. That's the kind of magnitude of this problem. And as you rightly said, people know about it. It's kind of an open secret. I say that. Some people know very clearly about it. Some people know about it but do not want to act on it. So it depends. But responsible media buyers, responsible media sellers understand this problem, understand the space, and they take actions on it to improve the quality of the inventory they are selling or essentially help with brand safety to their demand, all kinds of stuff. So, but how much of a bother do you think it is? I mean, what are the challenges an ad network or a platform like yours typically face when it comes to invalid traffic or any other platform of this size? Does the demand come
Uh,
back with something?
I think that can be sometimes that can be a lot of bother. If you're looking at the aspects of time, of constantly checking the reports and making lists and blocking lists and notifying partners and handling with deduction, that can be a lot of headache and taking a lot of time. Not to mention the biggest issue, which is partners and revenue. I mean, nobody likes to finish the month on this revenue and eventually getting a lot of deductions and getting a bad month. Uh, and in terms of partners, if you don't check the IVT oftenly and keep your hand on the pulse, you just lose partners, and that's a big headache to a lot of
Right,
networks.
right. I think getting the partners back again and getting their confidence back up is again a challenge. So if you lose partners, then it's like again convincing them for offers or convincing the supply, it becomes a big nuisance.
And once a partner sees you as a IVT source, it's that's a lot of headache and a lot of time and a lot of convincing to, even if you do make the changes and you do scan more and filter more and do more, just convincing them to try again. That's quite a headache also.
Right. So how do you visualize the space in the next 5 years? I mean, do you see that invalid traffic kind of going up, or with the new types of inventories coming in, like CTV and different ad formats, or do you see that it would not be a challenge? And how do you perceive the next 5 years?
Well, it's a big cat and mouse game in terms of IVT. I mean, fraud is always getting smarter and smarter, and every IVT blocking and filtering you do, they immediately work on how to bypass that. And as technology improve, the ways to do fraud will to do fraud in a better way and a clearer way will improve also. But in terms of the industry, in terms of blocking this fraud, there are more and more players that are getting into this game. I mean, it's not only IVT tools and monitoring tools. I think browsers will start using some basic, even blocking tools. Um, Ad platforms themselves are integrating all sorts of in-house monitoring tools on a basic level so far, but I think that will increase also. Um, and that's going to be a big headache. Of course, I'm sure there will be in the coming years new ad units, and every new ad unit comes with a new types of fraud until it gets solved. So it's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to
very much true,
be
man.
tough.
Yeah, I think you're right to say it's a cat and mouse game. I mean, the new types of ad units get added, new types of frauds get created. Uh, they always try to bypass the system. Yeah, but I think this game more or less is gonna remain. I mean, you can think of say IoT-based devices coming up in the next 2 years or 3 years, which would also be kind of having ad units. That would be, I think, the next big thing after CTV. That makes it another possible demand, possible supply to have become a source of IoT. So, yes, and do you think this problem is very geography specific, or this is it's a global challenge? I mean, do certain geographies face this challenge of invalid traffic, or it's a global phenomenon?
No, I don't think that's something specific in specific location. It's very global. You see it coming from, you see when you see the high peaks of IVT, you see it coming from different locations, different publishers. It's not something I think you can say this country is, traffic is being fraud and not work with that country traffic. Not something that you say.
Okay, right. So, I mean, let me ask you this. So, to the audience, this video will eventually go to a much larger audience, and the guys who are right now watching in. What would be your top three tips for them when it comes to invalid traffic? So, there are people I think having similar platforms like yours. So, what would be your advice or recommendation to them with respect to IoT?
I think the first one would be stay vigilant. Fraud never sleeps, and we can also always keep the report, always check the IVT level. If you have if you're using monitoring tools and they have some automated alerts that they can email or some sort pass it to you, that would be the best way to catch it immediately. Second one, I think, is invest your time in more direct relationships. I think you see more as you pass more jumps from the publisher, you see a higher level of IVT, even on the same domain. And of course, sometimes the publisher doesn't even realize the amount of fake traffic they get to the website. And of course, if you're having direct relationship with them, you can always notify him and have him make changes. And the third one is be automated as you can. If you have APIs that you can block sources automatically or anything like that, build them, use them, uh, and have more time to look at the big report on in a bigger scale.
Right. Okay. Okay. No, I think yeah, it's imperative or very important to be vigilant, as you rightly said, because what the kind of traffic you're getting in the morning may be very different than the traffic you're getting in the afternoon. and what you get later in that could be very different. I think it's important to try to stay ahead at least one step on IVT to know that what is the kind of quality which is hitting you and eventually going to your demand. So I think it makes a lot of sense to be vigilant and implement as many automations as possible so that you don't need a lot of manual resources to kind of keep on opening the reports, keep on reading it, because the supply sources you might have based on the publisher or the sub-publishers could go into hundreds or thousands. There could be thousands of apps giving you traffic or thousands of websites giving you traffic. So I think, I mean, if I have to summarize what you said, IoT is a global problem which platforms are facing, the media buyers and sellers are facing across the world, not specific to any geography. And as an action, I think it's important to be automated, important to be vigilant, important to be kind of trying to stay one step ahead in the game, build direct relationships as many as possible, because the arbitrage business of indirect supply to indirect demand, I don't think is a long-lasting business. You need direct suppliers, you need direct advertisers to build a stable and a profitable business. So yeah, so this was my summary, and I think Roy, anything else you would want to say?
Uh, not much. I think in my perspective, my biggest effort here is to give my advertisers clean traffic. We're trying to do the best we can with the IVT monitoring, and I think eventually the tools are mostly ahead of the publishers currently. They do in a current status. They do block what they need. But yes, it's a running effort to keep doing that and keep the traffic clean.
Right. Well, I would like to tell this audiences that Easy Mob as a company I mean, what we have been observing is taking a lot of efforts when it comes to invalid traffic management for their advertisers. They are very proactive. They kind of take a lot of efforts to understand the type of traffic that goes through and try to make changes on the fly. So it's a very proactive approach which you guys have taken, and I wish you guys all the very best. And I think we will be seeing you pretty soon in Israel. I think next month. I hope to catching up with you there. At a
Looking
nice
forward
place in
there.
Tel Aviv.
And I
Exactly.
want to thank you for your time, for having me here, and you know we're using Botman, like you said, for a long time with very good results, and very happy. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Roy, and thank you so much for the people who tuned in to listen to this and watch this video. So we'll share across this video also to a larger set of audience who could probably understand how a company like EasyMob is taking steps on in the space of invalid traffic and trying to make sure the inventory is very good quality when it goes to their advertisers. Thank you so much, Roy. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
No problem. Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.